everybody, Mark Campbell here with Core Strong Fitness. Today we have Stephanie with us who's going to demonstrate our full body 30-minute workout. So to get started, we're going to take that TRX into mid-calf length. We're going to go into a good little mobility warm-up here. First, Stephanie's going to go into a lunge with an I fly, or a Y fly actually, excuse me. So standing facing away from that TRX, she's going to lunge out with that right foot, and those arms are coming out to the side like a Y. We're going to perform each one of these warm-ups for 30 seconds apiece. So Stephanie's trying to maintain a nice vertical torso, as well as trying to keep a nice vertical shin, not letting that knee go over the toes when she lunges out there. Just trying to get the shoulders nice and warmed up here, as well as the chest. Really think about that nice, strong, deep breath coming from the belly. Good. And now we're going to take those hands out to the side like a T into that lunge format. Again, 30 seconds, alternating, stepping out with the right and out with the left. Really important to remember here that the shoulders are really tight. You want to go gentle and easy into this movement to not force it. You can stay really shallow. You can even bend the elbows a little bit, like Stephanie's demonstrating here, to really allow the chest and shoulders just to kind of ease into this. It's all about warming up. There's no need to go too fast into this or get too overzealous. Good, finishing up there. Now we're going to go into a side lunge. So Stephanie's going to turn and face towards the anchor point. So you're going to take those feet out nice and wide, toes straight ahead. From here, she's going to bend that right knee and keep that left leg straight, pressing that left heel in towards the floor. And then again, standing back up towards the middle. Then again, over bending that left knee, pressing the right foot away. Trying to really keep that torso nice and tall, extending her arms as she goes down. And once again, really letting that breath work kind of sink and go with the movement. So exhaling as she lowers, inhaling as she stands back up. Getting the inner thighs really warmed up, as well as the knees, as well as the hips. Good, finishing that on the other side. Very good. So now we're going to go into a single leg hip hinge. So Stephanie's going to face towards the anchor point, toes together. Hands are going to be at the hip level. From here, you're going to elevate that left foot off the ground. Hinge forward, leaning your weight into the straps. Keeping a nice straight line, or that left leg really active. Just going on the left side for now, and then we'll switch after 30 seconds. Notice how Stephanie's keeping that back nice and flat, and those arms are just going out. Again, another great way to really open up the shoulders and the chest by getting that core to really activate. Thinking about that right glute really squeezing to help her stand back up. One more here. Good, now we'll switch legs, reset. Taking that left foot underneath of the body. Now we're going to extend those arms out, hinge at the waist. Again, now you see that right leg comes back, nice and straight. Very, very good opportunity to use the breath here. So exhaling as she goes down, inhaling as she comes up. Again, keeping that right leg really active will help you keep stable and keep balance. If you need to, have a little soft bend in that left knee to help keep you stable if you feel like locking out is too tight on the hamstring, or even just really challenging your balance. Very good. Good, now we're going to go into a little hip opener here. So Stephanie's going to step back just a little bit. She's going to keep those feet shoulder width apart, toes straight ahead. From here, she's going to extend her arms and lean back. She's going to drop down to the bottom of this squat. Now, if your knees are really tight here in this position, you might not go down that far. You only go as far as you're comfortable. So use the straps to kind of offload some of that body weight. From here, Stephanie's going to just stomp around a little bit with her feet, kind of getting those hips, knees open, really getting a good position set in those hips. Good, now Stephanie's going to take her knees left and right. We're scrubbing out those hip joints. Really important to get those hips open here, get those knees loose, getting feeling good so we get good full range of motion on our movements, staying really strong throughout this entire exercise. Good. Now she's going to take those knees in towards each other and then out away from each other. Just in, back and forth, pulling them in and out. Good. Now I'm going to have Stephanie pull her weight forward. So she's going to sit over those feet. She's going to squeeze those glutes and just stand up nice and strong. One more time. Extend those arms, lower back, drop that butt down, and then stomp around a little bit, getting those hips open, knees open, and then just take those knees side to side, scrub those hip joints, and then in and out. Really important to get the body to set up, to get stable, to get open, to get mobile so you can get the most from each workout. Good, now pull yourself forward so the body weight's sitting, squeeze those glutes, stand up strong. Good. You ready to get into the workout?
Let's do it.
Okay, we have 45 seconds per exercise. We're going to take a 20-second rest in between, or transition time. We're going to do 4 to 5 exercises on the TRX. Then we're going to have a little cardio break. So then we're going to drop the TRX, do some floor-based cardio movements, hop right back on, then back to the cardio. So we're going to take a quick little cardio session in between each strength movement that we're going to look at today. So first exercise we're going to do is a low row. So go ahead and fully shorten your TRX all the way up. So once we get the TRX fully adjusted, she's going to stand facing towards that anchor point. She's going to start with those hands right in towards her armpits. Then from here, she's going to step forward to set her position. It's really important to find a good, comfortable position to start with so you're not going too far into this and then getting a little under or over what you're capable of here. From here, now she's going to extend her arms, lowering herself down. Watch how she keeps this really strong plank. That's the name of the game. She can even lift her toes here to really activate through the glutes. And then the return to the top, she's just going to drive her elbows behind herself, returning those hands up towards the armpits. Ready to begin?
Let's go.
Here we go. 45 seconds. You'll hear the bell. And let's go. So very, very important. Once you get set here in this position, and you feel comfortable, you can take a little step under. But since we're just starting, it's okay to just kind of get that position set and then stay here. As you fatigue, it's always important to step back because we want to fail with integrity. It's not about getting under and staying under and trying to really just be down there because you can. It's about getting the most from this and keeping the muscles under tension so you can get the biggest bang for your buck. Doing good. Don't forget to breathe. Excellent. We're going into the chest press next. So taking that TRX, fully lengthening it out. We're going to stand facing away from that TRX. We're going to start in a push-up position, nice and strong with those straps overhead. We're going to walk back to where we're on the balls of the feet and really strong plank here. Then we're going to bend the elbows, lowering down, slightly rotate those hands, then drive, press back up. Again, notice the strong plank here, hiding those ribs, tucking that tailbone under slightly by firing up those glutes and lifting those quads so you have a great strong plank and not letting that back sag at the bottom. This is very important here because if you keep this strong and stable, you're going to be able to push with so much more power throughout this entire movement. And of course, as you start to fatigue, taking that step forward doesn't mean where you start is where you have to stay. Good, strong breaths. Excellent. Now we're going to take that TRX, shorten it up to mid-length. We're going to go into a bicep curl. So Stephanie's going to stand facing that anchor point. Pinkies are going to come to the forehead. Elbows are going to be up tall. You're going to want to think about those elbows shooting up towards that anchor point the entire time. Keeping this nice strong plank, lifting up onto the toes, extending the arms out to lower down, and then pulling the hands right back towards the temples to return back up here. You really have to think about keeping those shoulders down away from the ears. get that turtle out of the shell so you're staying nice and tall. Get that plank really strong so you stay active and the hips aren't dropping here, but they're staying up high. Good, same thing here. It's all about keeping that strong control, not going too fast. Find a good pace and rhythm so you can last the entire 45 seconds. And again, as you see, that little step back, it doesn't have to be huge. Just a little inch of movement make a mile of difference. Very good. Going into tricep extension now, standing facing away from the anchor point. We're going to take that same setup, but reverse it to where the thumbs come towards the temples. Elbows are up and in. Very important to keep those shoulders safe, but keeping those elbows in. Stepping back to where you're on the balls of the feet. Lowering down into this position. Press up strong to where those hands extend out in front of us. Again, notice that strong plank position here. The hips aren't dropping at any point, so you got to really fire up those glutes. Think about making those glutes like apples, not applesauce. You don't want to have those glutes be soft because that's not going to help keep you strong in this plank here. By keeping those elbows bending back toward your temples, you're going to get the most extension through that tricep, getting as much benefit here as you can in this movement. Stephanie's super strong, so you can see how far back she goes, but I would definitely start at that shallower angle to test this out first. Excellent job. Last one before we get onto our cardio, we're going into a high rotation. So just taking a hold of one of those handles, standing facing that anchor point, locking those arms out straight in front of us. We're going to take those feet shoulder width apart. She's going to pull and rotate up to her right, keeping those arms as straight as you can, then slow lower down, then pulling up to the opposite side. This movement here can be kind of difficult to really understand the pull and the rotate, but you have to think about moving like a cylinder, connecting that right hip with that right shoulder, connecting that left hip with that left shoulder, and trying to maintain those elbows straight the entire time so you get all of that work right into those obliques. Keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, keeping that back nice and strong. Of course, we're breathing. Stephanie's doing a really good job demonstrating how to keep those elbows straight. Good job. A little bit more. Excellent. We're dropping that TRX. We're going to go right into 45 seconds of jumping jacks. You can stay here right on the mat or right behind the mat. Remember here that on our jumping jacks, we're trying to get those feet and hands to come out and together to keep good movement, big movement, and keeping that core active. So we've done jumping jacks a million times, but the plank, keeping that plank position, hide those ribs, keep those glutes active, so you're keeping that back really safe here in this position. So 45 seconds, find a good pace that you can finish this whole entire 45 seconds out. If you start fast, stay strong, but don't stop. Stephanie's good at keeping good pace here. She's no stranger to how to pace yourself out for these 45-second intervals. Good, strong, deep breaths. You gotta get that oxygen in. You gotta push that oxygen out. 3, 2, 1, rest. Now we're gonna take this into some mountain climbers. So we're coming down to the ground. We're pulling the knees in and touching the toes just really quickly. Then we're switching. So we're getting this good alternating position between left and right foot and getting a good core workout here. So we have to breathe really strong. Here we go. So just in and out, as you can tell, he's just bringing the knees in, not even really touching the toes. That's perfectly fine. That's just an additional challenge. If you want to, you can touch the toes down when you bring the knees in. But the goal here is just to be able to keep the breath strong, keep the position strong. And you see Stephanie just slowed it down there to show you how to regress this version. Any way you take it is perfectly fine because it's your level that you're working at, and that's important. To not try to overdo it, but start simple so that way you can finish strong towards the end of this workout so you're ready to go again for the next time. Good, just a little bit more here to go. Almost there. Excellent job. Now taking a hold of those straps again, we're going to go into a single leg squat. So Stephanie's facing that anchor point. She's going to hold on to those handles so those elbows are right by her ribs. We're gonna start with that right leg out. Let's start with that heel onto the ground. Just get this movement really strong. We're gonna set that left hip back and extend the arms, and then think about squeezing that glute to stand up strong. If you think about that glute contracting and driving you up as you press that heel down to the ground, you'll get way more from this movement. Now, once you get comfortable with this movement, you can elevate that right foot up off the ground. You got to keep that right leg active, keeping those toes curled back towards the shins, so you really get a good stability out of that active leg. So it's not just flailing all around like a little noodle. So Stephanie's got some great depth here on her movement. Don't have to go that low. Only go at your position. So if that's a quarter of the way down, that's fine. Work into your strength, but use the straps to pull you out just a little bit. Good, rest. We'll switch. Take the rest time. It's really important. This rest in between each exercise, 20 seconds might seem like a long time in between left and right sides, but it might not be that long. But you got to honor that rest, give your body the full rest potential. Again, heel down to start on this other side. Just get the feel, get that glute to work, because it's really important, again, to get that glute to contract to help you stand up strong. Again, this is a good core exercise. You might not think about it because the legs are going to be on fire, but the stronger you keep that plank position by hiding those ribs, you're going to have a greater power production from that right foot on up. Use the handles at the bottom if you need to pull yourself up. But as you see here, Stephanie's got a really light grip with her fingertips. Not taking much in the way of pulling, but just having them there for a little balance check, especially down at the bottom. Great. We're going to take this now into a crossing balanced lunge. The exact same setup as our single leg squat, but this time we're taking that right ankle behind the left knee, as if we're trying to kick something that's right behind us. Holding on to the handles to give you some stability, but again, all with that left leg to push to stand back up. Now, if you feel like you're falling or wobbling all over the place, you can take that back toe, touch it down, and then return. That is perfectly fine. And then if you feel comfortable with that, let that back foot hover, and then you can really drive that knee up strong. Again, hide those ribs. Keep those abs really tight the entire time. Gotta sink that breath. Exhaling on the way up, inhale on the way down. Great job, Stephanie. Really think about those arms just holding you in that position. Again, with that light grip, you'll use the hands a little bit more here than we did with that single leg squat, and that's perfectly fine. Again, with that rest, take it in. If you gotta grab a quick water break in these 20 seconds, that's perfectly fine. Don't be afraid of that. Just recover that heart rate, recover that breath, and we'll get right back at it. So we'll feel the difference between the left and the right side. Always okay to have a little stronger side and a weaker side, or some people say a smart side and a dumb side. But we're trying to work on those imbalances. That's why we do things asymmetrically. We're never going to keep the body perfectly balanced, but as long as we can work at keeping close to similar strengths and mobilities within the opposite joints, we're going to lessen the amount of pain that the body's going to have on a daily basis. Good job. So working here, so you can tell she's really getting that good strong cross of that left knee behind the right ankle and driving up strong through that right heel. Good. We're going to go into a hamstring curl. We're going to now take that TRX down to mid-calf length. So we need to make sure that these handles are hitting you right about the kneecaps. Sitting down to the ground, you're going to roll on back. You're going to place your heels into the foot cradles. From here, we're lying on back. We're going to elevate those hips up, then curl the heels into the rear, stopping when the knees get over the hips, then extend those feet back out. Really important to think about this as if you're in a squat lying on your back. So what does that mean? You want those knees, ankles, and hips to all track over each other, keeping those toes pointed straight up towards the ceiling, and most importantly, not losing this plank position, not letting those hips drop. So you're keeping very strong through that core, hiding those ribs again so you're not overextending through that low back. And by the time you're getting your feet out there, squeeze those glutes, quick contraction, then pull all back in. Good. All right, take those heels out, stand on up. We're gonna go 45 seconds in high knees. So nice, light, quick touches. Recover that heart rate. Breathe, get the oxygen in, push it out. It's all about endurance, getting that heart rate up, bringing it back down. Let's go. So with these high knees, again, that light touch, keeping that quick is actually gonna make this easier. So if you have a sticky cadence, it's gonna be a lot harder because you're spending more time on the ground, which means you have to spend more power to actually come back up. So not necessarily going faster is harder, faster is almost more efficient. Again, right here, keeping that core strong, keeping that nice vertical torso. Even a slight chin tuck so you're not looking up or having that neck get all tight, but just using those arms for a little bit of counterbalance. Getting those knees up all the way up to your hips. Getting towards the end, getting a little tired. Good, so now we're gonna take this into a little breakdown. So we're gonna go quick feet. When I say down, you're gonna go down, touch the ground. When I say up, you're gonna go up. So nice quick, down, go back quick feet, up. 45 seconds here. Breathe, ready, and go. Down, up, down, up, up, down, down, up. Keep breathing deep, down, up, down, down, up, 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 down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Good job. We're going back to our TRX. We're going into a crunch. So this time, we're now going to roll back onto our back like we did putting our heels in, but we're going to slip those foot cradles right over the toes. Once we get there, we're going to roll over, left over right, onto our belly. We're going to start here from our elbows, and we're going to go into the strong plank position. Then we're going to pull our knees into our chest, and then extend right back out. We got to really try to make sure we're keeping this nice, flat back as we pull in. You don't have to come this high. You can keep your hips fairly low and just pull the knees under. That's perfectly fine. We're just thinking about those abdominals crunching or pulling us in here and then extending back out to that strong plank so you're not losing that hip position. So here, you're gonna feel it in your legs, you're probably gonna feel it in those shoulders because you're trying to hold yourself up. But as long as you're keeping that really strong plank here, that back should never feel it. If you feel it in your back, set those knees down, rest. Good job, Steph. We're gonna go into a side plank on that left forearm with a hip dip. So turn yourself to the side. We're gonna make sure this top leg is forward, the bottom leg is back, and that bottom leg toes are pressing into the heel of that right leg. Really important to keep that elbow underneath the shoulder, keeping strong, active through this upper back. Then we're just gonna go into that side plank and then let these hips come down, then pull back to a parallel position. If you move just a tiny bit, maybe even an inch down, that is plenty. We're just looking to get a little more open space in this left oblique to really contract and pull it back up strong. And then if you feel a little more comfortable, you take this top hand and elevate it, and then you can even get this hip to come up a little higher past vertical to get a really good oblique crunch into that left side. Stephanie has some great hip mechanics here. You can see how high she lifts. It's great. Good. Now roll to the belly. Really important to keep those toes in. Over to that left, right forearm. So from here, again, exact same setup, keeping that shoulder and elbow aligned. Even think about pulling in the elbow towards you so you get that big, strong lat to keep that shoulder in place. Then we lift up into this side plank again. This left leg is forward, the right leg is back. Letting that hip drop down. It could be, again, just that little bit of movement. It doesn't have to be very big. And then pull right back up. If you have to, I forgot to mention on the other side, you can set this down into a rest. You don't have to hold the whole time. 45 seconds is a very long time for a side plank movement, especially with this hip dip. But if you're comfortable here, stay there, raise the arm, or you can even pike a little higher, getting those hips up for that big, big oblique crunch. If at any point that shoulder talks to you and says, I don't like this, then see if you can just hold into this side plank or take a little couple rests in between. Good. Our last TRX exercise, we're going to go into a kneeling rollout. So Stephanie's now going to kneel facing towards that anchor point. To start with, she's just going to start right underneath of that anchor point. This is probably the best neutral spot to start. We're going to keep a straight line between the shoulders, hips, and knees, and she's going to lean out, taking those arms out away from her, and then pulling it right back in. Again, kneeling out, and then pulling it back in. If you feel comfortable here, and if you're squeezing your butt and keeping those abs tight, and you have this nice straight line, then you can pull yourself away from the anchor point, which is going to make this harder, but only if you are maintaining that strong plank. So if you're earning that progression, or earning that standard, then you can pull back away from that anchor point. If you feel any tightness into those shoulders, don't go so far out. If you feel those shoulders creeping up towards your ears, step back. Good job, Steph. Last little bit of cardio portion here. We're going to go right away into skaters. So this movement's going to really challenge those glutes. We're going to really get the legs going here. We're going to start slow, and then as the time expires, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Have you stand facing that direction, so we'll go side to side. So pushing from one side to the other, you can start off with this back foot touching. Doesn't have to stay elevated. Just keep it nice and slow right now, because we're just getting the legs kind of used to this side-to-side motion, getting used to controlling that side-to-side weight shift. And then if you feel comfortable, now that we're about halfway through, you can let that back foot stay up off the ground. Now really challenging that hip, the leg, and that core to stay really engaged here. Okay, so we've got 15 seconds left. We're going to pick up the pace just a little bit, not too much. Good, and with 5 seconds left, keep going. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Go, 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 go. Good, last but not least, we're going to go into a little squat thrust. So it's kind of a half burpee. We're going down to the ground, kick those feet back, into that strong plank, pull those knees in, and stand back up. If you have to step back into this, step back into it. If you hop back, and all of a sudden that back doesn't like it, we're going to have problems later. So step back into this if you know you've already got some problems with that low back, but keep that core really tight. Every time you stand up, get that breath out, just like Steph's doing here. Get it really strong. There you go. So as soon as you feel comfortable, now earning that progression, earning that right to hop it back, then hop in, drive those knees up, stand up tall. Great, you can tell Steph's got a really good pace going on here. She's not overdoing it, but now that we're getting into the last little bit, we have 10 seconds left. If you have a little energy to go down, then stand right back up. You can. Good job. Only 5 seconds left. And done. Good job. Nicely done. Everybody, thank you very much for checking this out. After these kinds of workouts, it's always a great idea to do a good little cool down stretch. If you check out corestrongkc.com, there'll be good warm-up videos, cool down stretching videos. Come check it out. Love to see you back. Come earn it.